James Thomas morning, Ben. I'm here today with Arrey Obenson, and we're here today with the International. Again, what's the name of the organization? International
The International Institute of St. Louis.
of St. Louis. The
Yeah.
last time you and I talked, we had a series going on, but then here come the Afghan refugees into St. Louis. You guys played a huge part in that. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, the floodgates open, and since then we've resettled close to 700 Afghans in St. Louis. It has been an incredible experience, organizing with other organizations to ensure housing on arrival, putting them through transitional housing, staying in hotels, getting them all 215 families into permanent housing, over 184 job placements, and children in school. It's just been amazing as we've seen how these families have integrated our society.
Speaking of integrated and talking about a different economy, and you and I were talking a little bit about that earlier. You brought up that there are Uber drivers, they're working 8 to 5, and let's talk a little bit about that. And buying cars. That's even more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I typically the stories of refugees are usually focused on the challenges that they face. Challenges, of course, there are always people who have aspired to just have their driver's license, and immediately they've had that, have been able to understand driving within the city, and they're doing all the DoorDash, Uber Eats, and driving Uber already in the city. They have already become an incredible part of the city. There's a young man called Bashir who has just who I hope we can get him a grant here, but has this incredible plan. Is a veterinary doctor to source halal meat from farms in across the border there in Illinois, and be able to distribute them through to households, because now we have almost 300 new Afghan families in this community who need halal meat. So there's been a sudden increase in demand, but he has done an assessment to say there is even more need for halal meat, to get it from the farm and distribute to shops and homes. But they are integrating this community in ways that we never imagined or expected, and they're doing so with record time. Like I said, of 215 families, where in most families is one person that's working, we have seen job placements for 184 of those adults that are of working age. What that tells us is that we're almost hitting a 100% employment rate. And then we're seeing those same people also integrating what they call the share economy, which is DoorDash, Uber, and all of those things. It's been an incredible injection of labor into our economy here.
You know, it's interesting. You've talked about the adults. Here we are. It's a brand new school year. I would be wondering, how are the children, being integrated into our school systems here in the United States, and especially in St. Louis?
Yeah, so the St. Louis public school district has been incredibly supportive in this endeavor, from working with them whilst they were still in hotels to sign them up, to register them up for school, and then working with them to transition into the school. So understanding what grade, what level of English, and going through working with the Nahid Chapman School to prepare them for school, working with other organizations within the community to prepare them for back to school, with bags and all the supplies that they need. And we've seen the children integrated seamlessly into the school year as it just started. Here's where the big challenge has come for us. We don't have drivers of school buses. Right?
You're right. Yeah.
and so it's been a little bit hectic in the last few days, trying to figure out, for these people, if the bus is supposed to, they are told the bus will be on time. Then when the bus doesn't come on time, then they freak out, of course, because they don't know what to do, how to get to school. They will be working with a network of volunteer organizations that have been actually driving children to school where the bus is not coming or where the bus is projected to be late, just to make sure that they can catch up and be in school. That has been incredibly challenging process, but very rewarding because the community has really come out to help with driving as needed. Hopefully soon we can find enough bus drivers in the St. Louis school district that will solve the problem, but it's a labor market that is very different than ordinary times. So,
how we got started with this was an interview I did with a St. Louisan who was part of the Army and teaching Afghan women this tactical unit, intelligence unit. That's how we got started when I showed you this interview. Any of the Afghans who are here in St. Louis, did they serve in any part of the military or work with the military while they were in Afghanistan with the U.S. troops?
Yes, I actually know of one Dr. Hamid, who was actually a military doctor back in Afghanistan, and I've had conversations with him. I think he's now integrated here into the workforce with BJC, and not as a medical doctor, of course, but because he comes from a medical background, he wants to be able to work his way back into the profession. And the most ideal thing is integrating that workforce. Yes, and he has actually traveled a little bit around the state trying to regroup his division in the military to bring them to work with him here in St. Louis. And he's been down to Kansas City and Columbia and identified a few of them and really said to them that St. Louis is more welcoming than Kansas City, or that. So we want them to come down here. Just a follow-up. So, we've done some incredible things with the support of a local attorney, Jerry Schlichter. We have been able to put through 5 Afghans through who have now come out as software engineers in collaboration with Claim Academy, and are now ready for the job market. As software engineers, they're going to be earning, significant wage, which will put them on a path to prosperity. We have 2 more that are in the software, in the coding class now at Khan Academy, and we would have space for 3 more that are going to come out. So we are really trying to integrate them into the economy so that they too, like I always tell people, they are taxpayers, right? They too are employees. They're starting businesses, and they're bringing their own contribution to this community, and so that's what is rewarding. That's the gratifying aspect of our work, that we can see people who came here, who abandoned everything, who arrived here with nothing, and just 6 months later, they're facing new opportunities in their life.
Wow, that's a lot. We were speaking with Arrey Obenson, President and CEO of the International Institute of St. Louis. Thank you again for joining us on Morning Blend. It is just unbelievable what's happened in a year or two with the refugees coming to St. Louis. Thank you again for joining us on Morning Blend.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime. I'll be back with more stories.